Chris Raymond, the president of Veteran HUNDO Club, and we have Joe, Sergeant Joe from Veteran HUNDO Club. He's been helping and actually on an astronomical scale. And today we want to discuss VA claim assistance and getting VA claims just to get some advice so he can take it to his VSO. Make sure also, if God willing, he turns his disability rating to a higher percent because I believe he deserves it also personally, because his disability isn't getting better and it's gotten worse from my opinion. So I think he has definitely a solid case. Hey, Joe, you want to announce yourself?
Thank you very much for the introduction there, Commander.
I'll do that.
My name is Joe Arnold. I'm a 14-year Army veteran. Did 2 deployments back to back for Operation Enduring Freedom. Been to Kosovo. It was a tank mechanic, 63 Tango. Worked on M1s, did National Guard time as well with the Kansas Army National Guard. Just spent Korea, did Fort Hood, Texas, did all my training at Fort Knox, for basic and AIT, Fort Carson, Colorado. But always been around tanks, carrying heavy stuff around and stuff like that. So didn't see a lot of combat per se, but did a lot of support, especially in Kosovo, did patrols and other stuff like that. So
Okay, so thank you for the introduction. I got a question for you. So what are we looking to help you with? What are we trying to get? We're trying to get, I've done like 20 cases since I last talked to you about this. So I am so sorry that it's all mashing potatoes, and it's difficult to make sure that I don't, tell anybody's like story what's going on. So what are you looking for? Mental health or physical? Because they're 2 separate things, right? So
right.
the VA, look at it, right? Is that you have to deal with the mental health and then the physical. So how's your mental health doing? Is that okay?
Well, I already have PTSD. I'm already at 50% for my PTSD already on that. Continuous headaches, currently working on that. But I have denied claims as well with knee issues. It's I've had treatments on my neck. It's just
So really the main thing is to make sure to separate the two,
okay.
right? When you when you're dealing with mental health, is just we focus on mental health first.
Okay.
Knock that out, and then focus on the physical health. The reason I say focus on the mental health is because it's a heavier topic.
Okay.
It's emotional draining. It's psychologically draining, and it's in a lot of things you might like say you might have flashbacks or something. So it's better to get that heavy aspect out of the way, because also they call it high ticket item versus low ticket item, right? So
Okay.
physical is low ticket items, right? So you're
Gotcha.
going to get 10%, 20%, You're not going to get up to the 50 to 70%, okay?
Right.
So that's what I like to take to on the heavier topic first, and then work on the
Gotcha.
so stand by. I got family.
Yeah, no problem.
Gotcha. So you would definitely want to focus on um the mental health right now. So we're not gonna record any of that or anything, but I'm
Right,
just gonna
right.
how's your paperwork? I left you a share drive with that.
Yeah, yeah. I pulled it up. I haven't really finished going through it. My schedule's been kind of hectic lately and stuff like that, but I did glance at it. And
Anything
I'll start going.
overwhelming?
What's that?
Was anything overwhelming?
Didn't seem like it really was. It seemed like it was kind of straightforward.
Okay.
As I said, I need to take a minute, sit down, um, finish filling out, fill in the blanks, stuff like that. Um, maybe do a little more in depth on isolating kind of more of my, issues and stuff like that. Just because
Okay.
the
What
PTSD is just it's
So majorly, the secondaries is where the money is at.
Mm,
Secondary claims
okay,
is where it's where the disability comp is from.
okay,
So if you have secondary, which is anxiety disorder, major depression disorder,
yeah.
anything like that, and you got a diagnosis for those,
Hmm.
or if you don't have a diagnosis, go get a diagnosis, and then you can put those as secondary claims, and now your 50% goes up to 70. And
Okay,
pertaining to the words, I would say that you're going to cap out on mental health at 70. They're not going to give you a 100% rating,
right.
unless you're sitting in a corner of a room type. It's pretty much at that point, right? So because
Yeah,
there's nothing in between. So I can guarantee almost you 70%. I can
yeah.
say that.
Well, I'm at
Uh,
50, so I mean,
that's guarantees 70%. As long as you have those that husband and wife situation, you have those
oh yeah,
secondaries.
and children. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So I can say if you got the service connection for PTSD, it's way too easy to get 70
yeah,
because you didn't file for the secondary claims, okay? I'm
no,
sure, right? No,
no,
exactly. That's sitting money that's going to get back paid to you.
yeah,
Because again, the VA doesn't help you do this. And I don't
no.
understand why we have to solve the VA's problem.
Hmm.
It's insanity, but it's just the way it is.
Right, right.
I
Yeah.
mean, they do their part. They get all the documents and stuff, but they don't actually like, oh, do you have any secondary? They don't ask you like what other problems do you have? They just like take whatever you got and that's what you got.
Do you think it's just because they don't care, or they're
No, they
not
care. Absolutely.
knowledgeable?
No, I think it's a fine line between legal and and what they're allowed to do. Because otherwise they would have to hire an army of lawyers.
Right,
Every single person would have to be a lawyer and they're always crying poverty anyhow. So
right, right,
um,
right.
it just wouldn't be feasible. So I think it's just the legal requirements that are withholding from the Veteran Affairs to actually.
That makes sense. Yeah, the
It's
bureaucracy,
obviously they
all
care.
that.
I mean, they care hands down. Any problem I've ever seen, they
Yeah.
they open the door and the people are there. They're great. I'm not knocking the Veteran Affairs ever with that,
Oh yeah. No, no. I mean, I've
but
had.
I think it's due to the constraints of the law and budget.
Yeah,
That is really what hinders them from saying, okay, why don't they ask these questions?
yeah.
You
That
know,
makes sense. That does make sense.
they
No.
might only have authority to say we can only look at it and go through a rating, and then they have one or two or 10 lawyers sitting behind a desk or whoever their supervisors are, right? To
Mhm.
rubber stamp it. I don't know their structure, but they have to follow it very rigidly, the
Yeah.
military, the government, anything. And any deviation is against violation of laws of federal or
Right,
state.
right, right.
So,
Yeah. There is probably a fine line that they got to walk. That's for sure. So, but yeah. Well, that's I'll have to definitely get on that paperwork and get it done, and you know, see where
right.
we
So
go
it's
from there.
so yeah. So you filed, and do you feel like these are another question? Has your disability gotten better, or has it maintained the same, or gotten worse? Which ones? There's three of them.
Uh, it is
It hasn't gotten any better over the
no,
years.
no, it hasn't gotten better. No,
Okay, so that's the main thing is
no,
if it's gotten better, okay, hey, I think it's time to relinquish that VA disability and say, I'm getting better and
yeah,
look at downgrading, go to 30%.
yeah,
But if you're not getting better and you're getting worse,
yeah,
at that point, okay, so then you're without a doubt, this is a permanent disability, okay?
yeah.
So that means you can file for permanent and total uh disability once we get you to 100%.
Right,
I get
right,
it. We have to sit down and go through all your physical elements, but
right,
I know for sure, um, just on your mental health, that's an easy 70 ticket.
right.
All right. So, so you want to sit down and just give me a little rundown on your physical elements?
uh, Physical's been. I've got a metal plate that goes from the left side of my eye, left orbital rim fracture, the four Phillips head screws, and a wire mesh from a accident running at night. Fell on the front side of an M16, almost removed my eye.
Right. And did they cut you open in active duty?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so anytime you go under the knife, it's an automatic. For example, I got a stitch in here, right? They
yeah.
cut out assist on active duty. That
Mm,
gave me 10% because that is a scar. Now it's a scar, that's guaranteed scar. I mean,
right.
yours is a bit different. They put a metal plate in your eyeball. I mean, I think that's a little bit different.
Yeah,
I think since I think probably a little bit more than that. Then
yeah.
I
Well,
don't
that's
know. You're listen. Some people are cyborgs. Okay, it's okay. You know,
well, mine's
but
at 10%, and that's what I've gotten, and I've dealt with it, and when it gets cold, and now it's been to a point where it starts, occasionally, with my continuing headaches and stuff like that starting,
right. It
progressively.
could
I'm not
be
sure if it's,
that could be where we go through a medical professional as well to
yeah,
get a DBQ letters and a letter of opinion called a nexus letter
right,
that says, I believe due to medical science or whatever, some professional that,
yeah,
you having a cold eyeball or cyborg thing going on, right? Like, or, from Mortal Kombat, what's that guy? Kane, you know?
yeah, yeah,
You got Kane going on where you're zapping out of your eye, so
yeah.
it only
Well,
us can joke about those kind of things.
right.
You're like, yeah, I got blown up, but it's like, yo, I'm Cyborg and I'm RoboCop and da da da.
Yeah, I mean, I've had broken bones in the military. I've had, that metal,
Oh man, yeah, without a doubt.
you
If
know,
you're 70% mental and then you got all this extra candy, man,
yeah,
I could easily say you're 90 to
yeah,
100. Easy say you're 90 to 100.
yeah.
Because again,
Well, I had to have orthoscopic surgery on one of my knees, not too long after I got out. Um,
within a year of discharge.
I think it was probably within a year of discharge. I'll have to look back up on the paperwork or whatever. I might have had it done while I was on the National Guard side, um, during a
It's just too
deployment.
easy to say that service connected. Did you jump on airplanes or anything?
No, no, I
All
kept
right.
my feet. I was a tank mechanic, so I stayed on the ground.
Well,
But
sometimes there's MPs that jumped out of airplanes too, so I was an MP.
lost your sound.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
So sometimes like there was MPs that jumped out of airplanes. So we got
yeah.
airborne MPs. I don't That's what they call them, airborne MPs. That's like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So you never know. Maybe
Yeah.
airborne tank mechanic,
Maybe so. I
I'm
don't
coming
know.
down to repair that tank. You
Yeah,
don't know.
we'll fix it
So
anywhere, I guess. Uh,
exactly.
but
So I asked this question because jumping out of an airplane, actually, the VA knows they made it almost automatic that you get 30% for jumping out of airplanes. So that's why I had to ask that because they know your back is going to be messed up, your knees are going to be messed up. I
yeah.
mean, but it's too easy to say what activating event. I don't know. I spent 16 hours a day on my knees under a tank,
Mm.
crawled up into a ball,
Well,
and
well,
you know,
climbing up and down on tanks and carrying 50-pound toolboxes on your shoulders, carrying those back and forth and stuff like
right. So
that.
So these are all activating events. We're good. So what we need to do right now is focus strictly on the mental health. You have plenty of physical.
Yeah.
Again, it's the low ticket items, but they add up. Especially we got some stories, and if they, this is where the handy dandy lawyer and the VSO come in because I know this system,
Hmm.
right? I don't know the appeal system and the
Right.
supplementary system as well. So I know my weaknesses and I know my strengths, right? I know
Right.
where
Right.
I'm a ninja, I'm the ninja and I know where, I'm definitely not Jackie Chan with anything. So I keep, you know, so uh, we'll get your wording right. Make sure all your paperwork is right. You make
Yeah.
sure your sworn statements are right. So the first thing you want to do is a VA form, uh, sworn statement forms. You want each disability that you will have
Right.
uh, to write about that and to bring to write about each and every single one.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward. So that's the first step we're gonna do, and then we'll move on to phase two, which is the physical.
Right.
And then the CMP exams, it's too easy. It's too easy to, there, of course, the laws change slightly, but they don't change much.
Right.
So you got any questions for this, or we're
Um, no,
we're gonna go right into?
I'll try to get a chance this week. Go ahead and pull those papers up, and I'll start getting them filled out. And
Yeah, that's the first step. Is it's
yeah,
gonna take countless hours. So the first
yeah,
thing I would do, is actually right now, I believe that you have 365 days, but verify with your VSO, your local VSO.
okay,
I think you have 365 days to submit additional evidence from the day you open it.
I
Is this file for increase of disability?
yeah, I put in last year. Towards the end of last year, there was like a time limit. We had to get put in for a like intend to claim, put another claim in, something like that. So I got that put in,
Intent to file, yeah.
intent
Yeah.
to file. So I have that. I don't know when it's gonna run out, but I think I still got some time. So I
Okay,
have
check
intent to
on
file.
va.gov. Check on
Huh?
va.gov.
Yeah,
So what they'll do automatically is if you file in this intent to file,
yeah. They'll
because
backdate it.
they know sometimes we don't know what the hell we're doing when we're clicking on their system, right?
Hmm.
We don't know their chessboard. We don't know how they play Jumanji, okay? Jumanji's got its own that's what I call this VA thing. I call it Jumanji, you know? Like, you think you're just playing a game, but you realize, hey, the game's playing you.
Right.
So check on that, go on va.gov. I know they changed everything from e-benefits to va.gov.
Yep.
That's, there's some correlation they do. So check on that, and we'll talk on the back end when Facebook's not hacked and all the servers are knocked
I
down.
think it's back up now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
I just got a message.
they're pretty fast with that. So, all right. But yeah, I would talk on the back end with that when it comes to that. And I think that's pretty much straight up. Anything else?
No, I'll get on that paperwork, and I'll be talking to you sometime soon. So
Exactly. I
yeah.
want to keep you going without pushing you too hard,
Oh yeah.
But the
No
difference
problem.
is, I push you really hard. I push really hard. I feel like, hey, where's my paperwork? It's like,
Yeah.
it's not even your claim, God.